All right, hello everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am beyond excited today. I am chatting with the one and only, the legendary Jack Starr, of course, of Jack Starr's Burning Star. You probably know his solo career, and then of course he was one of the founding members on one of the first two albums of Virgin Still as well. So Jack, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm really happy to be here, and love talking to the good people of Massachusetts and
Awesome.
everyone on the internet.
Excellent, excellent. So you've got some really exciting news. Brand new Burning Star album coming out next month in July. Souls of the Innocent. So let's talk a little bit about that, like kind of the process. And it's been a
Right.
little while since you've had an album, but yeah, very exciting news.
Well, actually, just to give you like a rundown of the album, originally we were going to make Souls of the Innocent a thrash album.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but it's the truth. Uh, Ned, the bass player of Burning Star, who incidentally is from a town called Attleboro in Massachusetts. Are you familiar with it?
No,
Attleboro.
no, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, I guess it's a small town. But are you from Massachusetts?
No, I'm in Utah.
So I don't know where I got Massachusetts from,
That's all
but
right.
anyway, it doesn't matter. Utah's cool. So we were gonna do this thrash album, and then we realized as we were doing it that the album wasn't sounding thrashy, that it was sounding like Burning Star. So we couldn't get out of our own way. But it did do one good thing. It made us focus more on the stripped down heavy sound that a lot of metal fans prefer over the overly processed, sound.
Right, right. Yeah. And I mean, I've heard the album and yeah, it's phenomenal. I really love it. I mean, and you've always been known as kind of a riff master anyway, but I think that when I heard that intro or that opening guitar work on Demons Behind Me, boom.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about that the other day. That that whole first minute of the album is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, I agree.
Just the intro, the uh, the drum fill leading into the demons, the whole thing, and then when the layered metal, voice comes in, and it's like kind of like Klaus Meine from the Scorpion meets Udo meets Red Forster.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I like, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Alex has just a what a cool vocal range that guy has.
yeah, really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we find these people, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, very good thing. And you've been working with Ned Maroney for quite a long time. He's been your bass player on for with Burning Star for quite a number of years.
Yeah, I've had a longer relationship with him than almost anybody.
Wow, yeah. And Rhino's been on drums for a significant amount of time too, I believe, correct?
We discovered Rhino in 2007,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and he had been out of Man of War for some time, and we were just blown away. It's just like who is this guy, and why didn't he go from Man of War to being the replacement drummer of Led Zeppelin or
Right.
whoever? I mean, he certainly has the chops for it.
Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah, he's a but I think he fits really well in with the Burning Star sound, with your
Yes.
guitar work and with Ned's bass work. I think it's a I mean, yeah, what a great rhythm section Ned and Rhino make.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's,
just yeah, and then it just it complements your soaring guitar work so well. It's
yeah. Yeah. It was definitely there's some chemistry there, obviously. And when that happens, you know, you just kind of let it, let it happen. You don't stop it,
Right.
and there were people, and I'm not going to name them, as we were recording the album, that said, oh, the drums are too in your face. They're too, maybe a bit busy. They're too crazy. The vocals doing too much, or this is happening. But that's kind of, the style, it's not an automatic computerized thing, with digital masking of a lack of talent.
Yeah.
In fact, ironically, I mean, Rhino, there's no triggers, there's no nothing. It's just a guy going into a studio and beating the hell out of his drums.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we did a performance once for a biker club, a very notorious biker club. I'm talking bad guys, but they're not really bad guys, but they could be. The kind of people that are assembling machine guns on the pool table while the band is playing.
Right.
After we got done playing, the chapter president went up to Rhino, and we're talking about, Rhino's a big guy. Rhino's like 6'3", and he's a big guy, but this guy was like maybe 6'5" or 6'6".
Oh, wow.
Huge, lumbering kind of guy, and and he went up, to Rhino, and I'm looking at the situation, I hope everything is cool, because I'm thinking, hey, they seem to like us. They were making a lot of noise, drinking tons of beers, and all their their girlfriends were dancing and blah blah blah. And so anyway, he goes up to Rhino, and so I get closer because I want to hear what he's saying. And he goes, dude, you play those drums like you got something against them. I like that.
That's great.
And it's, that's the way he hits.
Yeah.
He hits hard. There's John Bonham. There's a couple of others, Cozy Powell, that have that kind of power, that strength,
Yeah. That's like you said, it's like, that opening, those drums. Yeah. You feel that as soon as that comes out, as soon as that starts up, it's great. Yeah. Rhino he's definitely a monster.
Oh yeah. And then Ned comes right in, with this incredible wall of bass, that can be felt, and so it all works out good. And so anyway, to make a long story short, so we were thinking initially this was going to be a thrash album, and every time I would talk to Ned or played for some other people, they would look at me and they go, are you kidding? You're going to put that out as a thrash album under assumed names? Because we had done the thrash album in the 80s. One of them was called Phantom Lord. The other one was called Devil Child. And so you're going to waste those great songs on a thrash album? And then they're all saying, you got to own it. So that's what we did.
Nice. And you definitely owned it, because it's an incredible album. It's really, really good. I can't wait for the physical copy to have that in my hands.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
did you get the album cover and all that, or not yet?
Yeah, I've seen the album cover. Yeah, I got like a advanced copy of the digital copy of it. But yeah, cool. I'm an album guy. I love to own. I like the physical. I've got a large vinyl collection and CD collection. I love just to hold it and look at it and read about it, read the lyrics and everything. So yeah, I'll be definitely purchasing as soon as it comes out.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I'm a big album collector, vinyl collector. In fact, probably we should have done this from my music room, where I have all my albums. I have about 1,500 albums.
Wow.
And most of I wouldn't say most of them, but quite a few of them are metal albums.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love vinyl. I think it's one of my. I know I read an interview with you. It was quite some time ago in years past, and I remember you basically, and again, I read this a long time ago, but it seems like I remember reading that you basically learned guitar, but you kind of taught yourself by listening to R&B records, right?
Yeah. Yeah. R&B and blues. And what was happening when I was, learning guitar, and what was happening really were the Stones, the whole, British invasion, and also the beginnings of metal. Because, most people think Black Sabbath started metal, or made the first metal record, which is really, I love Black Sabbath, but no, there was metal before, like Blue Cheer. Do you remember them?
Yeah, Blue Cheer, great band.
Great band. Even, bands like Stepping Wolf were metal bands, Iron Butterfly.
Yeah.
Iron, definitely a metal band, and the whole concept, the name, Iron Butterfly, like word, Zeppelin,
Right. Yeah.
Virgin, Steele, that whole black and white kind of thing,
Yeah, kind of, that duality here, that juxtaposed.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
So getting back to the R&B and all that, I listened a lot to, Freddie King, Albert King, BB King, anybody that was named King. If Martin Luther King had made an album, I would have bought it, it was just because I wanted to learn the blues chops, and I incorporate that in my metal playing. My metal playing is really blues based, and there aren't that many guys that do that anymore, because the new generation of players, guys that are a lot younger than me, they kind of learn more from, like, the Ingves and the Shredders, whereas I learn more from, the people that learned from the same people that I learned from. In other words, I didn't learn from Blackmore or Page or Beck or Clapton. I learned from the same people that they got it from, and so it's got that blues element,
Yeah, definitely.
And just like Ross the Boss, an underrated guitar player. He's got a lot of blues in his playing, and I think that's what makes him a very good metal player.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. And yeah, that's one thing I think I was always drawn to your guitar work was that blues bass, that you grew from. But you can definitely shred with the best of them too, but there's always that blues element, which is very cool.
And that's in the phrasing, because the one thing that blues teaches you, whether it's vocals or whatever, or guitar, or it's phrasing. You have to phrase like the human voice. When you're singing, you can't hold out lines indefinitely. You have to stop, end the phrase, start another phrase. If you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So guitar playing that just, dribbles on like, it's not fun, and it's overkill. So shredders that can also phrase, that's very cool. I think a guy like George Lynch, he phrases well.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen phrased beautifully, And Yngwie, when he wants to play great, is amazing.
Yeah.
When he wants to take the time and spend the money and do a really good album, he can do it, and he has. You know, those first 3 or 4 albums are amazing.
Yeah.
So it's really all about, you know, your priorities and about your influences.
Yeah, definitely. With I was curious, you know, talking about the, you know, growing up listening to R&B records and, you know, and you know, specifically the blues and playing that. Did you come from a musical family? When did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar actually when I was about 12 years old, and I realized that it was really hard, and I was a lazy bastard, to be honest. I wanted to hang out, have fun, and I put the guitar under my bed, and I did not look at it for three, maybe 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just, it was too hard. I got a drum set. I tried that. I wasn't really good at it. I also didn't like all these drum pieces that you have to, you know, bring to a gig, you know. It just seemed like, oh, this is too difficult. I don't want this either. And then I'm in high school one day, and I had long hair back then, and there was only maybe 3 or 4 kids in the whole school that had long hair, you know. And I see this other guy with long hair, and so naturally we start talking, you know, like, hey, what's up, you know, oh, did you get sent to the principal's office too? And I go, yeah, they want they want us to cut our hair, you know, and all this. And then I, on an impulse, I go, by the way, do you play guitar? And this guy said, yeah, I've been playing for like 4 years now. And I'm thinking 4, yeah, that's about the time I got my guitar. And I go, you know, I have a guitar under my bed, you know, I don't know what to do with it. I don't even know if it's in tune. I don't know what. I had no interest in playing it, but lately, you know, I've been hearing these bands like the first Led Zeppelin album, the first Black Sabbath album, Eric Clapton with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, man, I would give anything to be able to play like that. You know, Jimmy Page is just killing it. You know, you listen to Good Times, Bad Times, you know. So I said, can you play any of those? I mean, are those like humanly possible? You know, and he goes, well, I've been working on figuring out Good Times, Bad Times. And I go, really? I said, well, do you live far from my house? So he goes, no. So I go, well, let's hang out. I've got an amplifier that I haven't used either. So anyway, tell a long story short, he came over, showed me a couple of songs, and that was it. I realized, you know, this isn't so hard. This isn't so hard. And you got to get the guitar in tune, learn how to do that. And that was it. And I became addicted, you know, but a good addiction.
Yeah, definitely.
It was, when I say addicted, I mean, I'm talking about 5-6 hours a day of practicing.
Wow.
And then by the time I was in my senior year, you know, and my friends were going out, hey, Jack, let's go out, dude. Let's go pick up some chicks. Let's go get drunk, you know, let's go do a couple of 6-packs. And it was just like, well, it sounds good, but I got to stay home and practice tonight. So I became no fun for a couple of years.
But I think it was totally worth it because, you know, look where you are now, and the legacy that you have and continue to build, you know, with your amazing guitar work over the past 40 years of you know, like,
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, and very, you know, you're very prolific too. I mean, if you look at, you know, the number of albums that you put out, you know, 2 with Virgin Steele, of course, but then, you know, what you've had, you know, several 5, 6 solo albums, and then, you know, like, I think Burning Stars like 8, 9 albums, something like that.
This is actually going to be our 10th album. Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
we renamed two of the albums. One of them was called initially Guardians of the Flame, Under a Savage Sky. And basically, I just remembered the words of Joey DeMaio from Manowar, because we were on Joey's label for an album, and I had a lot of good talks with Joey. He's actually a pretty nice guy when you get to know him. Anyway, I had some good talks with him, and he said, Jack, you created a lot of goodwill with the name Burning Star. Why not use it? Why are you calling the album Guardians of the Flame? It's you and Ned are on it. It's a Burning Star album. So I thought about it, and now flash forward, 10 years into the future, and I heard that from other people. Why don't you rename it? It's a Burning Star album. So when I hooked up with Giles Lavery, who's our manager, Giles had no objections to it. He thought it was a good idea. And Brian Parker, who's the owner of Global Rock, which is the label that we signed to, also I thought it was good too, that all of the albums should have this continuity. There's no need to confuse the issue with, a one-off band that never did a show. Guardians of the Flame never performed anywhere. It was just an idea, and I'm really happy that we're straightening out that mess. Ditto for the Strider album, which was the last album that I did with Mike Torelli.
Oh yeah.
Who was the singer of Burning Star for quite a long time in the 80s. And well, Mike and I, at the time, we were thinking, well, this doesn't have, the exact lineup that Burning Star had for the previous album, for the Orange album. And then, and I said, okay, yeah, so I guess we should call it something else, Yeah, we'll call it Strider. And now, and then later on, I'm thinking, well, that's stupid. We have to own it. Strider is a Burning Star album, and now finally, thanks to the new label and our new management, it's going to be officially a Burning Star album.
Nice.
And same thing.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. When will that be released?
Here's what they're planning on doing. They're going to release the whole back catalog. So there's a lot of really wonderful, bonus tracks that were never heard that are also going to be. But it's all set to happen during the upcoming 12 months.
Nice.
So there's going to be a lot of product, and I'm really thrilled because it's my life's work. I mean, I could have been a lawyer, I could have been a doctor, I could have been a lot of things, but instead, I wanted to play music. I was crazy.
No, I don't think so. I think you picked the right path.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I mean, sometimes you have to wonder because the road was definitely rocky, and it was difficult. Because playing original music, you're either Billy Joel or you're not. That's the only way I can put it for people to understand. You're either making tons of money or you're not. It doesn't mean that you're starving, but it just means that you're not living high on the hog. And sometimes, you question your sanity, like when your son needs braces and, and you're thinking, this sucks. What am I going to do? And you take a job. I've had very few regular jobs, but I took a job just because I wanted the dental plan so my son could get braces.
Wow.
Because guess what? They don't give you a dental plan in Rockstar 101.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and I think that's one thing that sometimes fans don't realize. We as fans don't understand. We assume because it's somebody up on stage and there's all the lights and all the glitz, and you think,
Right.
oh wow, these guys are living high on the hog, and like, nah, that's not the
No,
case. Oftentimes.
absolutely, and but it's good because you do feel proud of your accomplishments, and it's that Shakespearean quote, "To thine own self be true."
Yeah,
And I've lived that, and I'm still doing it. And sometimes I'm thinking though that it would be nice to have a hit record. I deserve one,
yeah,
and I think I could. Honestly, I think I could pull it off too. Um, I just have to. I just have to actually convince everyone that I'm playing with, like, there's no stigma, there's no shame. It's okay. There's some amazing pieces of music that have been hits.
yeah.
Amazing, like Wider Shade of Pale was a hit.
Great
That's a
stuff.
tremendous song. Dream On by Aerosmith was a hit. Tremendous song. Stairway to Heaven was a hit. Freebird was a, and so even if we don't do it on this album, though there are really some amazing stuff on this album,
Definitely.
I think it's well within my capacity, and I'm going to say it now on your show, to write a song equivalent to Stairway or Dream On or Wider Shade of Pale.
Cool.
I just haven't done it yet, but I've gotten close.
Yeah. Yeah. You have some. Yeah. You look at your catalog. You look at the new stuff that's coming out. Yeah. Incredible songs. Like I said,
Thanks.
um, Demons Behind Me. I'm a Sinner. Man, those just great tracks. I mean, they grab you right away. Which I think is
Yeah.
tantamount for a hit. Is the kind of song that just grabs you immediately, and that's, for me, that's what I heard.
Right. And you know what? And that is a hit also in another way of looking at it, because I mean, it's just not a hit monetarily, but it's a hit. Some of these songs, if there's any justice in the world, which not 100% sure there is, but let's say there is, I could see a lot of these songs getting a lot of metal radio play.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the new album, I was well, and any album really, but particularly the new album, the Souls of the Innocent. I was curious about the writing process. So does it start with you always with coming up with a riff, and then kind of how does it work? Is it a collaborative effort with the other guys?
Well, most of the time it does start with me coming up with a riff, but it has lately. Ned's actually been doing that as well, and I totally encourage. I'm not an egotist or one of these guys that, oh, if it didn't come from me, it's not good. No, if he comes up with the goods, we go with it, and he has. Case in point, Ships in the Night, one of the songs on there, that's Ned's baby. The concept of Souls of the Innocent was actually Ned's idea, and I kind of asked him about it. I said, what is this about? Are we turning into Striper? I wasn't really sure. And it was about the shooting in Las Vegas.
Oh, interesting.
You remember about 4 years ago, there was a sniper that was shooting innocent people that had gathered to attend a music festival.
Yeah.
It was a country music festival.
That's right.
And so, Ned and I were talking about it, and it was just that, why were these people targeted and killed? They were innocent. They were just going to see a concert. I mean, what could be more innocent,
Yeah.
Let's go and hear some music. Let's let's assemble peacefully and have a little bit of fun and see some music. And music is a noble art to begin with. So, but no, they were savagely killed in the process, and they were truly souls of the innocent. And so we wrote a song, but we didn't want to get real specific where, we were going to name, the event, the places, the names, because I don't think good songwriting should be that, that detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came up with the riff, down, which, was a cool riff because it was so obvious. Some riffs, they're like out there, and you just grab them, they're floating around, they're obvious, and they need to be harnessed. And that was one of them.
Nice. Yeah, I was curious about and I don't even know how to put this. Like, do you have a lot of that where it's just, you just kind of, and I'm not a musician, so I don't quite understand the process as far as writing, especially like a riff, like, and you have, myriad amazing riffs. But yeah, is it oftentimes just kind of something that's just kind of pops in your head, or is it, do you have to work at it, or?
Honestly, a lot of times inspiration comes in weird ways. I mean, for a while there, everything that I risked were always in my car. If I'm driving in the car, and finally it got to the point where I was like pulling my car over, stopping and leaving phone messages to my girlfriend with, or I'd be humming a riff. And I would go, listen, don't erase this. I'm 30 minutes away, but I can't get to a recorder. And I just came up with this riff. So she would, leave it on her machine. And when I got back home, I'd figure out what I came up with. Or I'd call up Ned. Ned's got, I don't know, Ned probably has a dozen CDs of me calling him with riffs. And sometimes it's just me humming a riff. Sometimes there's a guitar there. I could be in a music store, and I come up with this idea. And so I don't want to lose him because, you don't know when the next one's going to come. I mean,
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose them if they're really, really a cool riff, So like, like when I come up with it's just like, I came up with that. I was actually walking down the street. It was a beautiful day out. There was nothing at all menacing or to indicate that music should have come at that instance.
Wow.
Because I live in it's a nice part of Florida. It's beautiful. It's sunny. We got the beach nearby. There's nothing it's not like gloom, doomy,
Right.
A dark kind of overcast day. I'm walking down the street, but why does such a riff come into my mind? I have no idea, but I don't want to lose it,
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that, like you said, you're walking down a nice sunny day and then this dark, but I guess you look at the roots of death metal came out of Florida as well, so
Exactly. That's a very good point. Right, with there's so many Florida death metal bands, and even there's one now, I'm not sure if they're from Florida, Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh yeah.
Are they from Florida?
I'm not sure.
But anyway, or Seven Dust or whatever. I mean, all these. I think there are some big ones that are from Florida, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's interesting. I was curious about so when you way back in time, when you left Virgin Steele in, what was that, 83, 84, and you started solo career.
84, yeah.
84, yeah. So, and you started a solo career as well as, Burning Star right around the same time, or very close. Has it ever, speaking of writing riffs, has it ever, did you ever have any confusion, or maybe not confusion is the right word, but I always wondered, how do you decide, like, okay, this is going to be on a solo album, or this is going to be a Burning Star song? Like, is that ever kind of a struggle for you, is in terms of like, well, I really want this to be part of this, solo album I'm doing, but it sounds more like a Burning Star song? Or
Well, the rule for me is basically this: if it's heavy, it's going to be Burning Star.
okay,
If it's groove oriented and guitaristic, that could be a solo thing. But all the Burning Star stuff really should be very groove. Not groove oriented. Should be very heavy.
yeah,
And groove is not necessarily metal. It can be, but generally speaking, it's not.
yeah,
If it's too syncopated, it really is not metal. Richie Blackmore kind of summed it up in a very obnoxious way, but it was truthful. He said something to the effect of, he goes, I don't like no shoe shine music.
oh yeah, I remember that.
It was kind of like a racist thing, but I think I understood what he was referring to. I don't think he meant it as a racist thing. I think he just meant a certain kind of rhythmic thing that occurs in blues and in country and in swing music. There's nothing heavy about Benny Goodman or Woody
Right.
Herman. It's just, it's like, it's just, it's swing. Metal, good metal can be melodic. It can be classically influenced, but it does have to hit you over the head. It's got to be heavy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and that's one thing that I've always loved about, your work with Burning Star, is just, yeah, you always bring it. You always bring the heavy, you always bring the goods. Every album, it's great.
Because it's what I want to hear in an album. I think honestly, I go about with the premise, which is, what would I want to hear on an album? Well, great drums, great bass playing, cool riffs. I usually don't like metal albums if there aren't any cool guitar riffs. And I know it sounds kind of almost childish to say that, but it's the truth. Why do I like Black Sabbath? I know there's going to be at least 4 or 5 killer metal riffs on every album.
Yeah.
There's going to be, those riffs are going to draw me and make me want to learn them or listen or whatever, And same thing with with the Ozzy albums.
Yeah.
Those initial albums with Randy, amazing riffs, and if Mr. Crowley didn't have the if they didn't have that riff, it would just be Mr. Crowley, bring, bring,
Right.
It's like nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't,
I'm definitely the same way. I'm a sucker for a good riff. And I love guitar solos and all, but yeah, if there's not a solid riff, then
And that's, well, I don't want to sound critical of other bands or whatever, but there are some bands that just really have run out of riffs. It's like, sorry guys, but go wait a while. Don't put out an album until you come up with some really cool riffs.
Agreed.
And I will not name them, the bands, because I want everybody to love me. The thing with the artists is that artists are artists because they didn't get enough love as children. So we want to be loved, we want to be liked. And in order to do that, you have to be likable. You can't be dissing people or, dissing other musicians or what have you, can't do that.
Yeah, I agree. So with Souls of the Innocent being released here very soon in the next several weeks, do you guys have tours for are planning to, are you planning a tour? You got shows lined up, or?
Well, I think that at this point, knowing Giles and knowing this whole great bunch of people that we've hooked up with, I'm sure they're going to want us to play. But I think right now we need to let this album implement itself a bit in the marketplace and kind of dictate to everyone involved what will be the course, what's going to happen, so what's the adage? Success breeds success.
Right.
We want this album to do really well so that it can kind of charter what we're gonna do in the next 12 months.
Cool.
But we do want to play, and we're all, what's the saying? We're ready, willing, and able. It's like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Let's go out and let's do it.
Yeah. I would love to see you live. I've never seen you play live, so I would, apart from footage on YouTube, but yeah, I would love. Hopefully, you'll make it out west.
That'll be great. Yeah, Utah's cool. We know people from Utah, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard of a small town in Utah called Beaver, Utah?
Yes.
You have. All right.
Broken down in Beaver.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a small town, right?
Very small town, yeah.
Very small. Okay. Well, we know people from there, so very
really
cool. So wow. It exists. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, nice. Wow, small world. That's funny.
Kind of like Winslow, Arizona,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Beaver is a tiny. That's amazing. That's amazing. You know somebody from Beaver, Utah. That's funny.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah, there's they're bumper stickers. You'll see them every once in a while here. I live about several hours or a few hours north of Beaver, but you'll see bumper stickers every once in a while that say "I love Beaver, Utah."
Oh boy. Yes, with Beaver in big letters in Utah.
Yeah, Utah's in small letters. Yeah, exactly.
Why did I assume that? Yeah.
Yep. Nope. You nailed it. Yep. It's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, that's funny. That's great. Well, Jack, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Likewise.
For everybody watching, there'll be there's links in the description below. You do not want to miss out on Souls of the Innocent by Burning Star. It is a phenomenal album coming out next month in July. I can't remember the exact date.
I think it's the 15th, perhaps.
15th? Yeah. So you'll definitely want to get your hands on this album. It's excellent. It's one of the best things I've heard in a long time. I was floored when I heard it. So yeah, please, everybody check that out. And yeah, thank you so much, Jack. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you. Really, it was my pleasure. And hopefully we'll get out to Utah and play.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Take care.